Hey guys, welcome back to KAYIE'S Creative Learning. If you are new to the channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe icon and that notification bell so you will never miss another lesson. Thank you for joining. I appreciate your presence. To all my subscribers that have been here from day one, you know how much I love you guys and you know I appreciate every minute of my videos that you watch. Now today, as you can see on the board, we will be comparing fractions, but we're comparing those with the same denominators. Now when we think of the word compare, we're thinking about how are the fractions equal, how are the fractions different, or how are they not the same? Meaning, is one greater than the other, or is one less than the other? Now, when we compare fractions, we use some symbols, and we have met these symbols before, but I'm going to review them quickly with you guys. So here we have the greater than symbol. Remember, this one is the less than symbol, and we all should know by now the equal symbol. Now, sometimes we get confused with the greater than and the less than. What I do to remind myself, and what I told you before, is that we can think of these two as the mouth of a shark. Now, if a shark sees two fishes, the shark is going to try to get the bigger one. So they always open their mouth to the bigger number. So here, this one is opening its mouth over this side. That means it will be facing the bigger number. Here, it's opening its mouth on this side, so it would be facing the bigger number. So the shark would grab the bigger fish. So remember that wherever the mouth opens, that should be towards the bigger number, just like a shark would open its mouth towards the bigger fish. Now, we have 3/4, and we're going to compare it to 2/4. This is pretty easy. Once they have the same denominator, and let us remind ourselves, a fraction is divided into two parts. The top number is the numerator, the bottom number is the denominator. Remember, the denominator tells us how many parts the whole is divided into, and the numerator tells us how many parts of the whole is being considered. Now, as usual, I like to draw diagrams first to show you this. So here we have 3/4. So I'm going to draw a pizza that represents 3/4. And here I have 2/4. So I'm going to draw another pizza. So two pizza of the same size, because when you're comparing fractions or when you're naming fractions, you need to make sure that they're equal parts. All right. Now, for this pizza, because the denominator is 4, I'm going to divide it into 4 equal parts. And this one, the denominator is also 4. So again, I am going to divide it into 4 equal parts. So now that I have my 2 pizza cut up into 4 equal parts, I can go ahead and shade the amount of parts that are taken out. So for this one, it is 3 parts. Remember, my numerator tells me that. So 1 part, 2 parts, and 3 parts. So this is representing 3/4. Now this one, only 2 parts are being considered. So 1 and 2 parts. Now we can use the diagram to help us to make that comparison. This has 3 parts shaded, so this one looks like it has more shaded. This only has 2 parts, so this one has less. It simply means that 3/4 is greater than 2/4. Remember, the shark is going to turn its mouth to the bigger fraction. So 3/4 in this case is the bigger one. So the shark is going to open its mouth to the 3/4. Now we could write it another way. We could flip it and say 2/4 is less than 3/4. So if you flip it, the smaller number would now be on this side, so the shark would turn its back to it and still open its mouth to the bigger fraction. So 2/4 is less than 3/4, or 3/4 is greater than 2/4. Pretty easy. Let's look at another one. Now this time we have 5/9 and we have 7/9. Again, the denominators are the same, so we can draw a simple diagram. So I'm going to draw a rectangle that represents a rectangular shaped cake. And each rectangle is going to be cut up into 9 equal parts. 9 equal parts. All right. Now for the first rectangular cake, I'm shading only 5 parts because the numerator is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 parts. For the second one, it's 7 parts that I'm going to be shading. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts. Just by looking at the diagram, we can see that this one is way bigger because it matches this line right here. So the bottom one has more parts shaded. It's bigger than the top one. So it simply means that 7/9 is greater than 5/9. Or we could say 7/9 is greater than 5/9. So 5/9 is less than 7/9, or 7/9 is greater than 5/9. So that is it using diagrams. Now I'm going to show you another simple way that you can figure this out without even drawing diagrams. Using the same fractions, I'm going to show you another simple way to compare fractions that have the same denominator. So once you observe that the denominators are the same, you can simply use the numerator to help you to determine which fraction is greater or which fraction is less, or which fraction is less, because the cake or the pizza is already cut up in the same amount. So any one of your numerator has a bigger number, then that is the greater one. So in this case, 3 is bigger than 2. So obviously 3/4 is bigger than 2/4. And 2 is less than 3. So 2/4 would be definitely smaller than 3/4. The same thing over here. In this case, the denominators are the same. They're both cut up into 9 equal parts. So all we need to do is look at the top numbers and see which one is bigger. So here we have 5 and here we have 7. We know that 7 is greater than 5. It simply means 5/9 is less than 7/9. So just like when we're comparing whole numbers, once the denominators are the same, just look at the top numbers and that will help you to figure out which is greater or which is less. But remember, that is only when the denominators are the same. If you can't figure out if 3 is greater than 2, then draw your pizzas, cut them into equal parts, or draw your cake, cut them into equal parts, and then shade to see which one has more parts shaded. Short and spicy. That's it for today, where comparing fractions with the same denominator is concerned. In our next lesson, we will still be comparing fractions, but with different denominators. That's where it's going to get a little bit tricky. Thank you for joining. Remember to like, to share, and if you have not subscribed yet or tap that notification bell yet, go ahead and do so, especially to my new visitors to the channel. Make sure you don't leave without subscribing, and tell a friend about KAYIE'S Creative Learning. See you soon. Bye.